Don't make me think she's there. Don't tell me she's there.
That doesn't look normal.
Well, my sister's been missing for 4 or 5 days. Her and her boyfriend. And we just found 2 bags in the shed. And this fly though, I think they're in the shed in a bag, okay? And I'm just scared to open it.
Oh yeah, dude, we don't have to cut. We're confirmed.
This one will stand out in my mind as being more gruesome, if not than any one I've ever seen.
Boys are drunk,
Okay.
and we lost my mom in 2011, and it's never really been the same.
The end is near. And so I face the final curtain.
Nine one, where's your emergency?
Hello?
Hello, 911.
Hi, I need someone to come to my house immediately.
Okay, what's going on over there?
Well, my sister's been missing for 4 or 5 days. Her and her boyfriend. And we just found 2 bags in the shed, and the fly though, I think they're in the shed in a bag, okay? And I'm just scared to open it.
Okay, we don't want you to touch anything, okay? Because if it is something like that, there's going to be evidence, okay?
We stopped.
Okay, he said there's how many bags in that shed?
There's like 5 bags, but these 2 are the ones with flies all over them, okay? Can you just get someone here to check?
Yep, we're getting everyone on the way. What's your name?
Kevin Marzejka. Let you go here, please.
August 26, 2018, Clinton Township, Michigan. A foul odor, a locked shed, and inside, a truth so horrifying, it shattered a family forever. Kevin Marzejka called 911. His sister Danielle and her boyfriend Seren hadn't been seen in days.
So, sister, his daughter, has been missing for 5 days now.
Okay.
I did a walk around the house to check.
If there's any trails or anything suspicious. I've seen a boatload of flies behind the shed.
But what he found in the shed would turn their worst fears into cold reality.
There's flies and they don't look good.
I can't believe it.
What makes you think that she's there? What makes you think something happened to her?
Don't make me think she's there. Don't tell me she's there.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know what we have.
That doesn't look normal. Let's grab a mask.
They then prepare to enter the shed.
It should be 2 in there, right? Yeah. Yeah, let's do the. You want to do booties? Yes. Just in case. Just I got seniority. I'll do light. I walked up, then I observed a garbage bag on the ground directly in front of me, ripped open, and immediately could see a person wearing a black t-shirt, and then I observed the left thigh skin exposed of a person. Oh yeah, dude, we don't have to cut. We're confirmed. Immediately confirmed that yes, we have a body. We're confirmed. Confirmed. Yes, it is. Get everybody out here. We're immediately clearing that home, making it safe, so that not a possible suspect hiding in there. Police. I peeled off to the left, and we started searching, and just started going room by room, checking everything. That's as tense as it gets, is clearing a house. We're going through each room, we're opening each closet door, immediately drawing and getting our light in there, making sure nobody is in there hiding that could possibly do harm to us. That's all clear up to that point.
Danielle Marzejka, 18, Seren Bryan, 19. Teenagers in love, working late nights, living under the same roof, disappeared without a trace until now.
Seren didn't have any enemies. He was pretty even-tempered. Wasn't anyone that you'd see flying off the handle. He had his limits, like everyone. Seren didn't know anyone out in Clinton Township besides Danielle and her family and her group. He was actually pretty quiet about that relationship. They met at a bonfire, and he did tell me I met someone new, but he didn't tell me a lot about her.
My sister, she was very unique, very creative and open, and she definitely stood for what she believed in, whether it upset people or not. She had no enemies that I knew of, and I could only think that maybe someone mad at something she was standing up for. But I couldn't imagine anything being serious enough to lead to hurting her or anything like that.
Stand by for a sec. Oh my God.
The investigators examine the crime scene to find evidence that could help them find more about the case.
I watched as both bodies were removed from the bags, and I saw that both bodies had been duct taped. Their hands were bound together, their feet were bound together. They also had duct tape around their mouths or over their nose, and they also had bags put over their head and then duct taped around those bags around their neck.
I opened up a bag and found multiple items inside of it covered in one of which was a small mallet. Immediately thought that, hey, we could possibly have a murder weapon here. We continued on, duct tape with on it. There was bed sheets with on it.
I've been employed with Clinton Township Police for 18 years. This one will stand out in my mind as being more gruesome, if not than any one I've ever seen.
The investigation begins with friends and family members of both the victims.
Bryan and her boyfriend Seren is 19, are both missing. I dropped them off after work on Thursday morning. They've been missing since Thursday at 8 a.m. That's when I dropped them off. That's the last time they were
Where did you drop them off?
Here, their house, after work.
That was the last time you saw them?
It's the last time anyone saw them.
Danielle's work friend was trying to help find her, and she had been home with Danielle's father, Robert, looking around. When we started talking about the shed,
So we were looking into the key. We couldn't find the key. One of the keys is missing.
he said Robert couldn't find his key or couldn't produce a key. It wasn't then until they had to call Robert's son, Kevin, to bring a key over to the house.
So we found the spare, and there was a bag covered in flies. It smelled like death, and we were trying to figure out what was in it. So her dad and brother cut it open and pulled the plastic apart, and then both screamed and freaked out and ran to the shed.
It's kind of rough, isn't it, man? What are we going to do? Yeah, not for a little while. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't want to, you know, his daughter. I know, I get it.
When I was talking to Robert, he was odd. He was acting strange.
I just kind of let him talk. I positioned myself so my camera would be on him and let him go. I didn't know how involved he was with this. I didn't know why there was body parts in a shed. He said he lived there, but he didn't know anything about that
Person being inside of the shed.
When you your shed, it was locked, right?
Yeah.
You and Kevin, right? Whose key did you use?
Mine.
So at this point in the investigation, we had a shed that was not broken into. Someone used a key to get into that shed. We had what appeared to be two bodies stuffed in bags in that shed. We had a couple different stories on whose key was used. And at that point, we were trying to figure out whose story was true, who we could believe and who we couldn't. Kevin was cooperative in coming to our police station where we could conduct an interview with him.
What's your name? No. Kevin Gilbert. I'm a detective here. Yeah, quit. How's Seren's relationship been with Danielle? I mean, they get along. I mean, from what I was told from her friends, that her boyfriend would never hurt her. So I figured it's, she got her. He was with her, So just so I can get this straight in my head, because I'm not that smart. Now, living there at that time, so within the last week, I had you living there, your dad,
Yeah.
Seren, Danielle. Was there anybody else?
My brother.
Okay, and what's your brother's name? Robert. Okay.
I was just a little bit surprised to hear about another brother because that was the first I'd heard of it.
Were you trying to communicate with him that night?
I tried on Facebook Messenger.
Okay, but you didn't try
And, well, the thing is, I could tell, you know, he caught, you know, drift of what's going on, and he pretty much said he's shutting his phone off. I gotta go charge my phone, and then he never came back online.
Right.
So I didn't bother trying to call, trying to text.
You know,
Get back coming back online, you know, he's obviously knows what's going on at that point.
I didn't know who Robert Jr. even was. I don't know if Robert Jr. is a suspect. I don't know if Robert Jr. just wasn't around and nobody brought him up. But at that point, I was very curious on why he was not mentioned in the beginning of the story.
What about your dad? How's your dad? Boys are drunk. Okay. You know, and we lost my mom in 2011, and he's never really been the same, you know. Well, he's always drank. Before he used to take pain pills too.
Right.
Too.
And the mix of the both always made
Okay.
He just blatantly was no reason.
He explained that when Dad got drunk, he would sometimes get angry and yell. If they're an alcoholic, they can be two different people at different times. And that got me a little suspicious at that point. So my next task was to interview Robert Sr. to try and gather more information.
I do is worry about her. And now, the end is near. And so I face the final curtain.
For you?
Yeah.
Why for you?
Because if that's her in my shed, I'm done, son. I'm done.
At that point, I'm trying to figure out if this guy's just a strange guy or if he's actually trying to hide something from the police. We had a shed that was not broken into. Someone used a key to get into that shed. And during our questioning with Robert Sr., we finally got out of him that the key that was used to get in the shed was not his. It was Kevin's key.
And you don't remember whose key you used to get in there?
You know what? My key wasn't on the shelf.
Right.
I remember that.
Now you
What it
remember.
always is.
Now you remembered after I told you that.
What?
Because the whole day you were telling me that it was your key you were using.
Because that's what I always use. All right?
And when I told you that.
Listen. No, well, believe me, I haven't slept in days.
Okay, well, I get
Listen.
that.
Listen. I remember it because I went up on the shelf where I have the house keys and it wasn't there. So I said, my key's not there. And I checked my pockets, you know, because sometimes I have it. No, it wasn't there. Because we had to break the damn lock to get in.
Right.
And he couldn't explain why he originally told me it was his key. Whether it was he was just intoxicated or he was lying to me, I was still trying to figure that out at that time.
Detectives then shift their focus to Robert Jr.
Where is Robert staying at right now?
I have no clue.
You said Robert was with you when you went to work on Thursday?
Yeah.
Did he pick you up, or did you go pick him up, or how did it work?
No, he picked me up. He dropped me off.
Okay. So he picked you up in the morning, dropped you off at 5:30.
Yep.
So you were with him the whole day?
Yes.
I'm trying to put pieces together because we want to talk to Robert so that we can get his story too, you know?
I'd rather not involve somebody that doesn't need to be involved.
You realize we're talking about possibly dead people here, right?
The strange thing was that Robert Sr. was kind of shielding me away from Robert Jr., so I was suspicious about that.
The autopsy reports came and the victims were identified as Danielle and Seren.
The medical examiner gave a cause of death for both victims as asphyxiation and blunt force trauma. So it was just way overkill on this one.
Seren was a very kind person. He was sensitive to how others felt and wanted people to be comfortable and happy. He liked to draw and create art. He had sketch journals. Sometimes
he shared them, and asking questions about them, I found out more about his day and how things were going. When he shared things from the sketchbook, it
My sister Danielle was a very beautiful soul. I mean, she was very unique and very creative. She loved the odd things in life. She didn't go for your basic, girly things that they all love, whether it's, flowers and whatnot. I mean, she loved spiders and bees and odd things like that, things that didn't get the normal attention. And a lot of her pictures, she would kind of put her head up and just her arms open and kind of embrace the world.
Investigators returned to the crime scene for clues. The house seemed clean, too clean.
Once I saw that, I thought this was not the actual scene where these people were killed. Looking around to your naked eye, it would look just like a bedroom. We use this stuff called Blue Start, so it reacts to where blood was. And the reason why we use that is because at this crime scene, someone had cleaned up. Someone had staged this bedroom to look like nothing happened in that room.
But inside Robert Jr.'s closet, blood-stained towels, duct tape with hair, clues hastily shoved into darkness.
The evidence tech located a bunch of evidence, black duct tape that had blood on it, hair on it, sheets that had blood on it, towels that had blood on it, a lot of different things that looked like were used to clean up maybe a crime scene. If Robert Jr. is on the run, he could be pretty far away by now. We also discovered that their family van was now missing and no one knew where it was. So we're starting to realize that Robert Jr., if he is our suspect, could have fled in that van. At that point, things started to move a little bit quicker for us, and we had to move fast.
Robert Jr., Danielle's own brother, was missing. They traced Robert Jr.'s movements, cab logs, surveillance footage. He was in Toledo, Ohio.
I was looking at the 23rd, which was the last day that Seren and Danielle's coworker saw them. Well, later that morning, early afternoon, I see Robert Jr. was calling a local cab company, and I followed up with that cab company to find out if they did show up to give him a ride.
So I spoke to your operator. I asked her about the 23rd. You recall going to pick up somebody at that at a trailer last Thursday?
Okay, I think I kind of do remember.
Can you tell me anything about that pickup and who it was?
Anything you recall?
Oh, I can't really remember. Dropped him off at Wendy's. Or I asked him, did you have a specific spot you want to be dropped off? And he said first, I think, at Walgreens and then at Wendy's. And I pulled right in, and I very first parking spot, and he got out and paid me, and that's all I know.
Pretty much in all the videos that I watched of Robert Jr., he appeared very calm. It's not like he had blood all over his clothing. He's just acting like the normal guy that you might be standing behind in line at the counter. So when I watched the video, I saw Robert Jr. at the Wendy's, which I know is a bus stop, getting onto the bus.
Did you work Parker? No. How far did you work? Sorry, Kurt.
Initially speaking to Robert Sr., he had told me that Robert Jr. on the 23rd was with him on a job across town, that they had rode together in this white van to this job. And now I'm watching this video of Robert Jr. taking cabs, getting on a bus. It was obviously not a true story that Robert Jr. was never with Robert Sr. that morning. What I then found out is he was en route to meet his father, who was doing a construction job about 45 minutes away. So at this point, we knew if Robert Jr. was on the run, it was likely that he was in that van on the run. So I created a crime bulletin. We distributed that to other law enforcement agencies and to the media to get it out to the public.
The search continues for a 24-year-old man following the discovery of a double murder scene in Clinton Township.
My thought process, I'm trying to think like Mr. Marzejka. He's trying to blend in within the community. I used the homeless to help me. I needed them to pound the pavement for me.
I wasn't certain if Robert Jr. was going to come back to the van or if Robert Jr. had just abandoned the van.
Investigators found his van parked near a grocery store, but Robert Jr. was nowhere to be found. Police searched for the areas where Robert Jr.'s van was found.
You know he's wearing a disguise, the blonde wig and sunglasses and the tan baseball cap. It looked so foolish. But he just stood out. He thought he was trying to blend in, but he actually stood out.
He went in and he purchased a cell phone. Presumably he was making a phone call to someone. And then shortly thereafter, he brought that phone back in, packaged back up, and returned it for the cash.
My thinking is he doesn't have any friends. He's trying to get away. He's trying to get distance. One, he needs identification. The next two things is going to be the train station or the bus, which is all in one. Mr. Marzejka is trying to purchase a ticket. They pulled up the ticket information. They had the ticket printed, which said his alias, Josh Bianca. The ticket also said the location where he was going to, what time he left, which was 11:55 on the 28th, and he arrived in Cincinnati at 3:45 a.m. on the 29th.
So we had to contact the U.S. Marshals down in the area of Cincinnati to start combing the area for Robert Jr. in the area of that bus stop or in the immediate area of that.
He had about a 6-hour head start on us, and we knew that he had definitely came to Cincinnati, so that was our breadcrumb at the time. So at that point in time, we started heading toward the Greyhound station there in Cincinnati.
Then Cincinnati, at a library disguised and calm.
He said, Marzejka came up to me, he only asked 2 questions. He asked me, 1, where can I buy a cell phone? And where's the library at? If we show up wearing our attack gear, he might see us walking up to the library, and at that point in time, he might book it. Cincinnati is a decent-sized city, and especially when you think you've got someone locked down, you know, you don't want to give them an opportunity to slip out and go somewhere else. So my partner and I walk in the lobby, and there's a security guard that was sitting just left inside the doorway at that point. And the security guard is facing the elevators. And we identify ourselves and show him a picture and say, we're basically going to be looking around here. We're looking for this guy. If you see him, don't approach him because he's very dangerous. And at that point in time, I had my back kind of to the elevators, and I'm pulling up a picture of Robert Marzejka. I hear ding, and I see the doors open up. He goes, there's your guy right there. At that point, I turn around, and my partner turned around, and I mean, there he is. Wearing the same hat, same long blonde hair wig, strolling off that elevator with not a care in the world, holding a cup of coffee, and he was pretty shocked. He was pretty shocked by it. It's almost like you're watching, a hit cable TV show. And so at that point in time, we basically jumped him and actually got out of there pretty quickly.
Robert Jr. was caught. Marshals took him down in seconds.
So the marshals had their man, but that was not the end of my job. I had to continue with the investigation. Robert Jr. was transported up to the Clinton Township Police Department. Once he's up here, I got word that he wanted to talk to me, which surprised me. I didn't know that he would talk.
Obviously what happened was unimaginable, you know, and it happened to your sister, which is awful, okay? But a lot of times there's reasons why things happen, and whether those reasons are understandable or not, I'm just here to hear you out, okay? So, what did you have to say to him?
Did something happen that set you off, or what happened?
Well, my first question is, what is my charges?
Why don't you show it to me, okay?
Because normally, you got 2 counts. This is the charge document here. 2 counts of homicide, murder in the first degree.
What is that?
Premeditated.
What is premeditated?
It means you plan to do it. And if that's not the case, you tell me.
You're looking at the worst charge not than killing 2 people. All right, but nobody can understand why this happened.
So at that point, Robert Jr. asked if he could call his brother, and secretly I'd hoped that maybe he was going to call his brother to confess or to tell him why he did it.
Hello? Hey, Kevin. Just got back from Cincinnati. I've got Robert here with me. Okay, all right. I'll talk to you in a few, Kevin. Okay. Hello? Hey. So, are you gonna make this case go easier, bro? What do you mean?
Are you guys okay in the house? Like,
we're not living there anymore, Rob. There's blood everywhere. So, are you pleading guilty to everything?
no, I'm not. Wait,
Why?
I can't really talk about it on the phone, but
Robert Jr. just told him he's going to plead not guilty, and at that point, it gets frustrating because you know that good piece of evidence that we could have right there of his confession, we weren't going to get it.
Despite him not confessing, the investigators take him into custody for the murder of his sister and her boyfriend.
I believe what happened is Seren and Danielle return home at 8 in the morning from working all night and go to bed. Robert Sr. gets up to go to work. Robert Sr. and Robert Jr. were going to go paint that day. Robert Jr. was nowhere to be found. He wasn't in his bedroom. He wasn't there. So I believe Robert Sr. left to go to work. Robert Jr. then returned home at some point that morning, and something bad happened in Seren and Danielle's bedroom.
After a 6-day trial, the jury took just 40 minutes, guilty, on all counts. Robert Jr. would never leave prison again. Danielle and Seren's story is one of love, stolen by someone they trusted. Their final moments silenced in a shed, but their memory can never be taped shut. What do you think? Was Robert Jr. acting alone? Or did this family hide a secret darker than murder?
Like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime stories that delve deep into the heart of the human experience.